so wipe the dirt from your feet. I have nothing here, so what do you seek? He said, don't forget to breathe, darling. Don't forget to breathe for me. It's been a long drive for you to get here, and my hands tied to the chains of my feet. Oh, don't forget to breathe, darling. Don't forget to breathe for me. Don't forget to breathe, darling. Don't forget to breathe for me.
Thank you for joining me on the show, and we'll jump straight into when did you start in music?
When I was really small, I used to listen to my granddad playing clarinet, and my dad got me into rock music and things like that. So at school I started kind of picking up the clarinet and kind of was intrigued by guitar, watching my brothers play guitar with this rock music, and my dad with excellent blues guitarist. So it started from a very young age, my interest in it.
At what age did you think this is something that I wanna take on and take it up as a hobby or profession?
It was kind of, it's always been a part of me, so there's never been like one exact point where I've thought this is what I want to do. It's just always been what I've done, so it's not like there was one pivotal moment where I kind of stopped and thought music is what I'm going to pursue. It's always been there, and it's just that I've had so many different opportunities and different avenues to go down to try different things, and parts of it I'm more interested in than others, so I'm kind of chasing those a little bit more. But yeah, there was no real kind of pivotal moment for it. Just it's always been there, always.
Always been present, always been sort of a part of your life, basically.
Definitely.
How, when, and where was your first gig?
Ooh, my first solo broken piano gig. I think it was about 2 years ago now. It was at the Mulberry Tavern in Sheffield, and a gentleman called Derek, fantastic promoter, he put on this goth synth night. So yeah, I was there as the opening act, all by myself, just surrounded by my synths, and the audience were absolutely fantastic, and it ended up being the best first gig you could ever want, so I'm really grateful for that.
Was that your own material as well?
Yeah, that was my own material. I think I did one cover, which I do. It's a Britney Spears cover of Toxic, but I make it sound really quite sleazy and really synth heavy, and it's awesome.
So have you always done original music, or is that how you started doing your own stuff?
Yeah, I think in terms of writing, I was around 15 or 16 years old when I got a guitar. And I started pottering about then, and that's kind of like your angsty years when you really start venting a lot of feelings and things. So I started just writing then, and it was never writing to perform it to people or never writing to get famous or anything like that. It was always just the kind of diary entries really, and when I started tinkering around on piano, some of those songs would then translate to piano. Yeah, so I do covers as well, which is great fun. It's so much fun, the energy and what have you, but my own stuff has the emotion to it, which can have pros and cons, like, definitely.
Yeah, because obviously you're doing your own material, which is kind of it's from obviously from you, and you want other people to connect with you, throughout, which is, I suppose, it's very daunting.
It can be, yeah. It's one of the reasons I'm kind of like holding back on gigging so much of my own stuff is because it was all written from that perspective. It's all kind of these diary entries. It's kind of, it feels like you're showing some of your most in-depth feelings to people that you've never met before for them to judge, and it can be really scary. But then when people are supportive, and I'm so fortunate that people have been just incredible, really supportive, and that feels really good, and it kind of gives you more self-confidence. But the kind of anticipation of what will they think, and it's really, really scary. Whereas with the covers, I can detach from it, and I can be a show person and do all that kind of thing. It's fine, because it's not, I pretend that it's not me. If I want to be Coverdale, I can be David Coverdale, that's fine.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. Because like you say, like you're having your own thoughts and having people judge you. Well, maybe not judge. Well, maybe you see them as judging you, and even though the problem it's just like how will people foresee what I'm trying to say and do? As that is in itself it'll cause a lot of anxiety, which
definitely
I know I have through filming and stuff. I've not put anything that I've written out, just for that reason, which is, I know I should, and at some point I will, but I kind of like, I've gone towards documentary because I'm like, it's not just me that, I've got other people involved where I'm like, well, it's for these as well, and it's their story as well as I'm trying to tell a story as well, so it's not just solely on me, that you don't have to have that pressures.
It kind of, I think it's great to have that, to help other people with something that you create. When I did the charity song Down, it helped with that in a way because it was for other people. So that's what, it kind of drives you to keep going with it, because you get the feedback of like, people relate to it, and I've had similar experiences, and it opens people up a lot more, I think, and it makes you want to keep doing it when you create those connections. If you don't get anything like that, you're not helping. If it was just for you, I think sometimes I wouldn't do it if it was just for me, but because there's people, I know it's helped some people because I've talked to them and we've shared the same feelings, the same thoughts, and it gives you something to keep going, definitely.
Like, do you perform solo or in a band?
So for Broken Piano stuff, predominantly it's solo. I do sometimes have drummers on stage with me, just because it really amps it up and gives it more of a kind of rocky vibe. And so if I'm playing a gig with kind of heavier bands, because I seem to be able to get in with either pop stuff or even acoustic bills. And then I've been on the flip side, I've been on some like death metal lineups and stuff. So for the heavier stuff, I'll get a drummer in and we'll do something a bit heavier to liven it up. I can kind of tailor it. And a lot of the songs will translate just to piano. So if it's a quiet acoustic gig, I can just play piano and do a set that way too.
How would you say, how important is gigging to you?
It's been fantastic. I've met so many incredible people, so I'm really, really grateful for that, and as well because it is such a fear for me, and everybody gets stage fright, everybody does, that's normal, but it's a real fear for me. It's even to this day, to perform my own material, I find it really difficult. But whenever I have a fear, I like to face it head on and try and overcome it. So it's been really important to prove to myself that I can do it. So I've made myself do it, and I've made myself do it for a long time to try and kind of desensitize myself a little bit. So I know that I'm capable of it. So it's been really important for that. But again, for meeting people, I've just met the most incredible people and had so many amazing adventures. So, and just the buzz you get from all of it is fantastic. It's, very important, definitely.
Over years of me filming, like the amount of people, like meeting yourself, and I just like the amount of people you come, and everyone's got their own stories and their own style of music. No one's sort of the same. Like it's just that in itself, like going to open mics or like your organised gigs, just from people from different towns to come in. Because where are you based? In Wakefield side. Where are you based?
I'm in Chesterfield now. I was in Leeds originally, and then I'm down in Chesterfield now.
Because I remember, like, you did. I met you at the Red bus stop.
Yes, we did with Hayley. Yeah.
Hayley had put that gig on, and I remember meeting you there, and I was like, wow, your voice is, to me, is phenomenal. Like, I'm just like, wow.
Thank you.
This is a voice that you have to hear. Like, I was taken aback straight away because I was there with Nukes that night to film. I was filming them, and you was on the same set. Everyone's on a different journey, but you intertwined at some point, and it's.
Yeah, music unifies people, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old you are, what genres you're into, what you play. I've got fantastic friends who are in the 70s who I've met at gigs, and they're brilliant friends because it breaks down these barriers and it unifies you like nothing else. Absolutely. I've got so many long-lasting friendships because of music, definitely.
What is your favourite or most memorable gig?
That I've performed?
Yeah, that you performed at.
I think that first one at the Mulberry for Derek, it's a really synth heavy event. So, and most of my set is really industrial beats, and like I love really dirty synth sounds. I really love them. But right in the middle of my set, I love to just take it just down to piano and vocal and do this ballad, which when you're kind of in the middle of this goth night and everything's going, and to just stop and go twinkly piano and a really heart-wrenching ballad, it's like, oh, you never know how that's going to go. So it got to that point, and I started singing the song and everyone went silent. And then I finished the song and it stayed silent just for a moment. And then everybody started applauding. And it was like, whoa, whoa, that's amazing. And some of the audience members from that gig, I'm really great friends with now. And they're such loyal supporters. I absolutely love it. So I think that one, there were all the feels for that one.
Like a beautiful reaction.
That's it. When you just create those moments, that's what it's about. You know, you're connecting with people, and that's the thing with music. You can relate to people and make these connections. It's just fantastic.
When was your last gig before lockdown?
Oh, where was my last gig before lockdown? Corporation in Sheffield. I think that was my last one. And it was great. The headline act were a Tool tribute band. Fantastic. I love Tool, so that was great to see. I was kind of dubious at first because Tool standards are like up here. And it's like, ooh, can they pull it off? And they did. They absolutely did. And again, I stay in touch with these people and they're fantastic. They're just brilliant. I had my friend TJ drum for me as well. So that was like an adventure for us. little day trip out. It was, yeah, really good evening.
And was that close to lockdown?
No, it wasn't. Lockdown was not even, this whole thing wasn't a thing. It was, yeah, I knew that I was going to take a bit of a break because I got some recording that I wanted to get done, and I kind of was having a lot of trouble with anxiety and things, so I wanted to just chill out and step back from performing, and that seemed like a really good one to, you know, it's a corporation, it's big night, it was yeah, really
Go
good.
out on a high sort of thing if you're going to take a break.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I remember you putting up the post where you were saying you was going to go on a break and not do your own original music.
Yeah.
So, how has it been, sort of mentally during the time of the lockdown now? Because have you been at work or have you been furloughed?
So I've been furloughed, and I've got a little boy, so he's been off school, so we've been doing loads of baking, and I've had loads of time to record and write some new material and potter about and do all that kind of thing. And I love more the technical side of recording as well. That's always been a big part of me. So I've been learning absolutely tons and tons of watching YouTube videos and tutorials and things on how to EQ drums. I've tried to push myself a lot to just learn as much as I can.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, like, YouTube's great because like editing wise, I learned so much. To like, if you get stuck editing something, and then I'm like, surely there's got to be a way around doing this. So then it's like, head to YouTube and somebody's done it for you, and they'll show you a video. It's brilliant. Like, just the people who do them teaching videos, I'm like, it's so much respect for them people.
Oh, absolutely. It's just like the tiniest things. So I use Pro Tools when I'm recording, and there's some really basic stuff that I don't know, and there's some really in-depth stuff that I do know, and I need to kind of like make this bridge between the two, and I can just type it in. I can just type anything in at all, and there will be a tutorial there. And I've got kind of my favourites who I learn from, but yeah, I've learned a lot this last couple of months, definitely.
How's it been for yourself? Like, are you having to homeschool your child?
Yeah.
Going well?
Really good. Oh, he's a little superstar. We've kind of made it fun. So like PE lessons are just amazing. We just run around the garden on the trampoline. Really good fun. And his dad's a science teacher, so he gets the science and the maths and all that kind of stuff, and I do the kind of the music and the art. And we made we made a death metal song called Sausages. So I'm getting music in there as well. It's all good. Got to get him involved, haven't we?
Sounds good. Sounds very good.
Blimey. It's an interesting time, definitely.
It is very interesting. Like I was out of work towards start of year, then I got a job in a pub, and then pubs got shut down, so I've gone back into retail now. It's just a crazy time. Like, people are still not fully aware what's going on. And then there's people who fully understand and are very respectable of what the social distancing guidelines have been thrown down to them and they've got to abide by. But then there's just people who just don't want to do it. And it's like, we can, as a people together, we have to just join together and get help each other get by.
Absolutely. I feel like we're quite behind, really, in the response to it. And it's very worrying. The amount of people that I've seen, like you say, they just think it's a cold and they're kind of belittling it a lot. But then on the flip side, I've got really close friends who are working in A&E and they're in the COVID wards, and it's serious. It's a huge thing, and you kind of, the people who are disregarding it, you just want to be like, there are people dying. There are so many people dying. Like, you can't. No, it's really, really difficult time.
Because I've served a couple of NHS staff, and they've turned to me and says, like, you know, thank you for being here and doing your job, and you're in a worse situation than we are. And I'm like, surely we can't be. Like, if you're working with the patients and they were like, yeah, but you can't clean yourself, you can't wash your hands like at frequent times, you're in a closer space than we are to two people, and you'll see more people than we do. And I was like, surely you're in a way. And they were like, no, you're. And I was like, kind of taken back because I didn't want to. I was like, surely I can't be in a worse situation than they are. Like, they're working on what I'd say frontline, and they're like telling me I'm working on frontline, which is worse than them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's terrifying. I've been to the supermarket once. I've been fortunate to only have to go once. Like, my husband's been going for us, and I was terrified to the point I got to the sweetie aisle, which is towards the end in our supermarket, and I froze. I just stopped, and someone must have noticed. This guy kind of walked past, not close, he was very respectful. He walked past and he went, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Nope." I just froze, and I couldn't breathe. I was like so panicky, and I just think if you're facing that every day, you're doing that, it's like you say, people coming up to you, and no, like I don't know how you do it. Any people that are having to work frontline, that's scary stuff. You're very, very brave. We're lucky to have you people, definitely.
It's the ones that like just don't kind of respect that space, and they just don't get it, and they're just like, well, I haven't had to do this before, so why am I doing it now? And it's like, well, you haven't lived through this pandemic, have you? Like, this hasn't been a part of your life, so obviously you should have to adapt. But they can't see that they have to adapt to it, which is the worrying thing. And yeah, it's kind of like worrying that you because you can go down like some aisles and people will just like crowd in or go over your shoulder to pick something up, and you're like, what are you doing? Like, yeah, you could do that a few months back
when this wasn't a thing.
And it's not like you like even like 8 weeks into it, people who are still doing it, and it's like, come on, like, surely you've seen the news in the last 8 weeks.
That's it. I think for a lot of people, they lack empathy, and I think until it affects someone they know, or until it's in their region, they're not going to see the gravity of it. I think they're just quite insular. They just see what's immediately around them, and they can't empathise with the rest of the world and what is going on. So whether it's going to be a huge shock for them when that does hit, it's scary. It's all unique. I think music and art are just brilliant mediums for conveying messages to people, and to bring people together. It's so accessible as well. So you can have one really important message, and then because of social media and such, that can get worldwide in an instant. So it's just such a fantastic platform. I think it's important to use it to help people. Definitely, absolutely.
I'm not a massive fan of social media. I don't like it's all my old social media is negative. But then as soon as lockdown happened, and I was like, oh well, I can't go to a pub and I can't listen to any original music. And I was like, and now I can't go and meet my mates. What do I do? But then social media now has kind of become what I suppose it should be, like where you engage with your friends and you engage with a different audience, and people like putting on like live gigs, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm still not missing out on going to the pub because now I can watch somebody do a live show on their YouTube page or their Facebook page, which is great.
It is. It's a great way to just stay in touch with people, and just keep going with it. Definitely, just keep everything ticking over until we can get back to normality. Like, with fellow musicians, there's always something to talk about, and this is why I've got older friends and people who like different backgrounds and enjoy different genres and stuff. You've got that one thing in common, so you're always going to have something to talk about. And music, there's so many different things you can talk about. There's the recording process, the writing, all sorts. So you're never going to tire of talking to another musician. There's always something to chat about.
Yeah, because I'm like, I wish, like, I can't play any instrument. I don't know couldn't tell you what a chord is or anything. I don't know nothing. I just know what I like, and I listen to a lot of genres of music. And it's just like I know a lot of musicians, but I can't play a single note. I really wish I could. It's something that I'm just like envious about you all, because I'm just like, how do you do it? Like, I can't.
But there's then but then with videography and things like that, I'm terrible. If I try and take a photograph of someone, I'm the person who like chops the head off of the image. I can't do that. So everyone's got their own skill set, but definitely for music, for people such as yourself to come down and support it, that means so much to musicians and artists. It keeps you going, because when you do have venues that they're empty, there's like 1 or 2 people, but those 1 or 2 people matter so much. Like that, they're the people that you keep going, because you might create a connection with those 1 or 2 people. It's important.
What was inside of me? I'm all alone, I'm on my own, that's how it's meant to be. You didn't hear me out, my mind was full of doubt. I'm capable of so much more, I'm gonna show you now that this is something you can have no more. No more. This is something you can have no more. No more. Before the rain falls down again. Before the time runs out again. Before the rain falls down again. Before the time runs out again. Stop overthinking. Stop overthinking.
Have you ever had like a bad experience at a gig, like where it's just gone either wrong, or a rowdy crowd, or?
I've been really fortunate that I've never had a rowdy crowd or any negativity like that. There's been times when I've panicked so much that I know I've not performed well, and it's one of the reasons why I am so reluctant to gig, because when I'm at home, and this is my comfort zone, I'm always more comfortable in like a studio setting. That's where my interests lie. I love recording, I love that kind of thing, so I'm used to that, and that's my comfort place. But on a stage performing, I'm terrified, and it affects my performance. My breathing goes out of sync because my heart's pounding, and I've even I have medication, like anxiety medication, just so I can perform. So yeah, there's definitely been times when I've done a gig and finished it and just cried. I've just gone home and cried because I've just thought I know I did badly, and there's a lot of people there, that's their first impression of me. They're just going to think I'm awful. And that's it. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and so then it's important for me to do things like get my recordings out and do little live videos from home, because I can kind of prove then that no, this is really how I can perform. It's just that the pressures of live get to me so much. I can't be me. I find it really hard for my own material. I find it really hard. So yeah, that's how things have gone wrong. It's never been because of anybody else, but my own pressures.
Okay, I'm gonna say, because like first time I saw you, like I would have never known anything, like, because I was just like, I was taken aback, but I wasn't expecting like your voice, to be honest. Like I say, like your voice is amazing, and I was just like, wow, like you got some lungs on you. I was just like taking it. I was like, wow. So I would have never, unless you'd have told me. But that's usually the case, isn't it? Like, it's so you can easily hide depression and anxiety from other people to a point where no one else sees it, and maybe at them gigs, maybe no one saw any different in you.
Yeah, I think I've heard a lot of people have kind of said, oh, you'd never have told, and I don't know if I just kind of, you kind of put on a mask, don't you, because you want to give the impression that you're doing well, and I think a lot of people who do have anxiety and depression do that on a day-to-day basis. You put on this mask to make people think everything's fine, this is all great, and then you go home and you fall apart. But I think that's one of the reasons why I always make sure I talk about it and I'm open about it on social media and things, because most people find certain things difficult. So to give the impression that everyone's fine all the time, it can alienate people, and I don't think that's right. I think it's important to give an honest account of your thoughts and feelings and how things affect you. So I don't mind sharing about that at all. I think it's important to be honest about that.
Yeah, no, I definitely 100% feel that, because like I personally, I go through stuff and I don't. It's only in my last 3 or 4 years I've started talking about like my mental health. But I've had it for, I don't know, since I was maybe a kid, maybe 11 onwards. But I have always hid it. I never really talked about it. I just thought, oh, I'm miserable. Like, I came across as a miserable person sometimes, and I just kind of played on that and thought, oh yeah, I just don't like things. It's easy just to tell people, yeah, I'm miserable, I don't like it, rather than going, no, I've got some shit going on in my head, but I don't want to tell you.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah, that's it. You don't want to bring people to pick up on it and ask questions and things. It's
so easy to do that, and then as I got later on, I just kind of joked about stuff, and I'd use comedy then to mask it, because that was even easier than just pretending to be miserable. And you just laugh and joke about life, and that's an easy way of hiding it completely, because then no one knows at all. But then it does, it, like you say, it does hit you, and then you go home and you're on your own, and that's when your mind goes mental. And unless you talk about that, that's when you kind of, okay, then I'm not alone. I'm not having to deal with it while I'm alone, and people are aware of it, and then they can help you out.
Absolutely, it's important to just connect with people and support each other.
Definitely. Have a drink to that.
Cheers. Lovely.
I've got to say, I've got I don't know where it is. I've got a scotch somewhere.
You've got some whiskey.
Yeah, here it is. I've got a scotch.
Ooh, very nice. See, I've got. It was my birthday recently, and this is my thing. Jack Daniel's my thing.
I like which one is it? Jack Daniel's. I can't remember if it's not the honey one.
There's a cinnamon one. There's like a fire. Is it a fire one?
Fire one. That is beautiful.
It's not my cup of tea.
Oh, is it not? I'm gonna say that is my favourite one they do. Jack Daniels. I was like, wow, this is really
Jack
nice.
Daniel's original by itself. That's great. And then the honey one. I like the honey one by itself as well. But I tried an apple one. Oh, it was awful. I just think you don't.
I haven't had the apple, JD.
It's not great. You don't need to change Jack Daniel's. It's okay as it is. You just have it on its own with a bit of ice. Fine. My favourite situation is a double with 2 lumps of ice. Perfect. For me, that's perfect.
Definitely. I like. Have you had Jim Beam before?
I have had Jim Beam a long time ago, though.
Because that's more.
It's been a while.
It's kind of a liqueur whiskey, and my mum loves the Red Stag version, which is a cherry. And Jim Beam, it is beautiful.
I can see cherry going well.
Yeah, it's very nice. I do recommend that. Like, my mum loves it. Like, she demolishes like a bottle. Probably shouldn't say that.
That's kind of me with this. It's Yeah, I really like Jack Daniels, so I enjoy it very much.
So I do like whiskey. I do. Whiskey is one of my favourite. Whiskey and brandy are my spirits.
Brandy. See, I've got into beers. So I work at it's brilliant. It's a little micro bar, and we sell different ales and craft beers and things. And so I've had to learn a lot about different types, and I've learned that I like porters and stouts. Product knowledge. This is like I have to try them. Porters and stouts and IPAs. I really like. There's some nice. The first one I tried was it was like a 12.9% porter.
Sounds great already.
Oh, it had all these nutty, chocolatey, just gorgeous flavours. So, yeah, I do enjoy a nice beer as well.
Porters are my favourite beers.
Oh, yay! Do you have a favourite type?
I do love the porters. Like they're beautiful. I prefer them over stouts, even though they're the kind of knockoff to stouts. Kind of like a cheaper version.
I'm the same actually. Yeah, I prefer porters to stouts, definitely.
They've got that like to me they've got like that smoky texture to them where I'm just like, oh, that's nice, kind of roasty flavour.
Yeah, it's like desserts. Don't you think it's like a dessert drink? So I could never drink loads and loads of porters. I'd have a couple of pints, but just on a nice evening, just when you get these, so like Titanic plum porter.
Oh wow, it's nice, isn't it?
Beautiful. So good. So good.
I spent a night on that in where were we? I think it were a Wetherspoons. So obviously it was dirt cheap anyway. I think me and my mate drank barrel of it because we were just like going back to bar. This plum porter is amazing.
It's absolutely beautiful stuff. I think that's my favourite.
I'm gonna say I'm just looking here. What like I've got a carnage of beers outside of my.
Just lined up.
The ones that have gone. Yeah, I've got a vanilla porter over there.
Ooh.
and an oatmeal stout, and yeah, I've had quite a few stouts. I've had a choco-blocker mocha stout.
Ooh, that sounds good. Oh, who's that by?
It is by William Bros.
Oh, I've not heard of them. I had it was like a hazelnut. I think that was a stout, and that was a Magic Rock one, and it's called Surreal, and that was like really nutty, really, definitely a dessert type drink. it was really, really good.
I think is it Young? I think I'm not sure if it's Young's Brewery, but they do. If it is their brewery, I'm not sure. A sticky toffee pudding, which is basically it's a dessert in a glass. Like it's like wow.
Oh, that sounds good.
That
sounds really
perfect.
good.
I think it's Young's. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to. I'm pretty sure it's Young's because they do it. I know they do a double chocolate.
Ooh, nice. All those flavours like coffee, nut, chocolate, plum, they all just go so nicely. Caramel.
Batesman's have a great. I think it's called Mocha, which is obviously like a coffee flavoured stout. From Batesman's. That's one of the best coffee flavoured stouts because it's chocolate and obviously mocha is chocolate and coffee. It's perfect.
Oh, I bet. What a combo.
Exactly. And it is like perfect. It's very nice. Bought some nice beers. It's called a dessert. I haven't got the can up with me, but it's called a dessert in a can, and it is a pistachio cookie dough ice cream stout.
Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds really good.
It's strong. I think it's a 10.5%.
That's the thing. The tastiest ones seem to be the strongest percentages. I'm like, ooh, I could drink this all night, but
I'm like, as long as it's strong and you can taste the flavours, then I'm all for that. If it's strong and you can't, there's no flavour in it. It's just like I can just taste alcohol here. It's not.
It's like with spicy food. If it's spicy for the sake of it, like, and you can't taste anything, then I won't eat it. But if it's really hot but flavourful, That's such a good combo.
Have you had a gig cancelled due to lockdown?
Yeah, so I had one again at Corporation with that band, with the Tool Covers band. That was lined up for, I think it was September or October. And I think that's going to have to be postponed, or we're all sort of playing it by ear. Just whatever's best for the public, really, and keeping up with safety measures and things. So I would assume that we're not going to go ahead with that, I would assume. Normality is great, but it's going to be a long time till we get there, I think, and it's important that everybody's respectful and keeping safe. So I know all my friends agree that we all think the same way. We can persevere with whatever needs doing to make sure that everybody's safe. That's the important thing.
Definitely. Right. What are you going to leave us with?
Okay, I'm going to leave you with, I've mentioned it a few times throughout the conversation actually, the charity song called Down, that's about mental health. That heart-wrenching ballad that stopped all the goths in their tracks.
I know I will find my way down this dusty old road to see another day. So I'm running as fast as I can towards this big old sunset that you keep in your hand. But I'm done. I don't want to be alone. I need to be alone, 'cause I'm dying. I found myself here again, in this cold, barren place, with your old familiar face. You say, come in, take a load off my knee. Well, I scream